Some moments in music history happen on stage, in the studio, or on the charts. But the ones that stay with you forever happen when the artist and the fan collide unexpectedly. These are some of the most unforgettable musician-fan surprises ever captured on camera. Hit that notification bell so moments like these never pass you by. Number 10. Metallica. In April of 2016, Metallica walked into Rasputin Music in Berkeley, California, unannounced, and played a full surprise set for fans who had simply come to a record store on Record Store Day. Nobody in that store had any idea the band was coming. One moment fans were browsing shelves, and the next, James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, Kirk Hammett, and Robert Trujillo were setting up equipment 10 feet away from them. The footage captured reactions that no choreographed concert moment could replicate. Fans pressed against each other in a space built for record bins, not mosh pits, watching one of the biggest metal bands on the planet play at arm's length. The story was covered by Rolling Stone, Billboard, and every major rock outlet within 24 hours. It remains one of the most intimate performances Metallica has given in the last 3 decades. Number 9. Dave Grohl. During a Foo Fighters show in Kansas City in October 2018, a young boy walked up to the stage barrier holding a sign. Dave Grohl spotted it mid-set, stopped the show, and waved the boy up. The crowd of several thousand people went quiet with the specific kind of anticipation that only happens when nobody is sure what they are about to witness.
Play guitar, Collier. Put it in the mic.
Yes!
What songs do you know?
The boy sat behind the kid and performed with the timing and confidence of someone who had been doing this for years. Grohl stood at the side of the stage watching with visible disbelief, eventually crouching down to the boy's eye level and telling him directly that he had just blown the entire arena away. The moment was documented across international media and became one of the most widely shared concert clips of that period. Grohl later referenced it in interviews as a reminder of why he still finds live performance genuinely surprising after 3 decades in the business. Number 8. Adele.
And on that highway of regret.
In November of 2015, a BBC special filmed what remains one of the most elaborate musician disguises ever pulled on unsuspecting fans. Adele, fresh off the release of her album 25, worked with professional makeup artists to transform herself into a contestant named Jenny, complete with a prosthetic nose, a restructured chin, a different hair color, and a completely altered speaking voice. She then auditioned alongside real Adele impersonators who had no idea they were standing next to the actual artist. All of the contestants, including the disguised Adele, were assigned the same song to perform, Make You Feel My Love.
I've
been doing this about 6 months. What about you?
5 years.
When Adele began to sing for real, the other contestants started exchanging uncertain glances. One woman put her hand over her mouth. Another was crying before the disguise was even officially dropped. When Adele removed the prosthetics and broke character, the room collapsed into tears and laughter simultaneously. One contestant said through sobs, "I knew something was off because you were just too good." The BBC special drew millions of viewers on its opening night, and the unmasking clip became one of the most shared videos of that entire year. Number 7. Ed Sheeran.
Beautiful and sweet, but I never knew you were.
In June of 2015, a 13-year-old girl named Sydney Bourbeau was performing in the atrium of West Edmonton Mall in Canada, singing Thinking Out Loud to a small crowd gathered around her portable speaker setup. She had a decent voice, a patient audience, and no reason to expect anything unusual about that afternoon. What she did not have was any idea that the song's actual writer and performer was walking through that same mall at that exact moment. Ed Sheeran heard the performance from across the atrium, stopped walking, and quietly made his way toward the stage. He stepped up beside her without saying a word, borrowing a moment to simply listen before joining in. Sydney froze for half a second, looked sideways, processed what was happening, and somehow kept singing. Sheeran later said in an interview that he had been genuinely impressed by her composure under those circumstances. The video spread across social media within days and turned Sydney into a celebrated figure in her hometown overnight. It remains one of the most organically earned viral moments in pop music history. Number 6. Garth Brooks. Midway through his 2014 comeback world tour, Garth Brooks took the stage in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and a camera operator spotted a handwritten sign in the crowd that read, "Chemo this morning, Garth tonight, enjoying the dance." The sign belonged to Teresa Shaw, a breast cancer patient who had finished a chemotherapy session that same morning and come straight to the arena. Brooks stopped the show the moment the sign was relayed to him. He walked to the edge of the stage, looked directly at Teresa, and began singing The Dance, one of his most personal songs, entirely for her. Then he reached down, unstrapped his acoustic guitar, and handed it over the barrier directly into her hands. Teresa Shaw held that guitar for the rest of the concert. Backstage after the show, Brooks spent time with her personally. Wide media coverage followed in the days after. Brooks later said in interviews that moments like that one were a central reason he returned from retirement, and Teresa has spoken publicly about that night as a turning point in her recovery. Number 5. Pink. She has sold over 60 million records worldwide and headlined stadiums on every continent. But at a show during her Beautiful Trauma World Tour in Vancouver in May 2018, Pink encountered something that genuinely stopped her in her tracks. A 12-year-old girl in the crowd was holding a sign asking for a chance to sing. Pink, who has a long history of pulling fans on stage, handed over the microphone with the relaxed confidence of someone expecting a sweet but unremarkable moment. The voice that came out changed the temperature of the entire arena. It was full, controlled, and emotionally precise, the kind of instrument that takes most singers decades to develop. Pink stood several feet back with her arms crossed, slowly shaking her head. At the end of the performance, she leaned into her own mic and said, "I don't want to sing after that." The audience responded with a standing ovation that lasted over a minute. The clip spread rapidly across social media and prompted immediate industry conversation about the young singer's future. Number 4. Paul McCartney.
Don't let me down. You have found
300 million records sold, 32 #1 singles. And yet, on a night during his Out There tour stop in Albany, New York on July 5, 2014, the moment everyone talked about had nothing to do with the Beatles or Wings. About 40 minutes into the set, McCartney noticed a couple near the front with signs, one of which read, "He won't propose until he meets you." He stopped between songs and waved them forward toward the barrier. The man dropped to one knee while McCartney stepped back from the mic to give them space, keeping his band quietly at the ready. The moment she said yes, McCartney launched immediately into a song, providing a live, unrehearsed soundtrack to one of the most intimate moments a couple could share in front of thousands of strangers. The crowd at the Times Union Center, which holds over 17,000 people, responded in a way that rivaled the reaction to any Beatles anthem that evening. McCartney told the audience afterward that the spontaneity of that particular moment was something genuinely special. Number 3. Billie Eilish. In 2018, Before Billie Eilish had released her debut album, a production team from Now, This reached out to a group of her most devoted young fans with a straightforward premise. They would be filmed discussing what Billie's music meant to them, framed as a tribute video for the rising artist. The fans arrived, sat down in front of a camera, and began sharing deeply personal stories about how her songs had helped them through anxiety, isolation, and some of the harder years of adolescence. What none of them knew was that Billie herself was standing silently directly behind them throughout the entire conversation, listening to every word. Then, one by one, she placed a hand gently on their shoulders. The reactions were immediate and overwhelming. Some fans screamed. One covered her face and could not speak for nearly 30 seconds. Several dissolved into tears while simultaneously laughing, clearly overwhelmed by the collision of vulnerability and joy. Eilish, then 16 years old, hugged every one of them and told them she had heard everything they said. Number 2. Bruce Springsteen. During his River Tour in early 2016, Bruce Springsteen noticed a young boy near the barrier at a Philadelphia show holding a sign that read, "Can I play Growing Up with you?" Springsteen has a long history of inviting fans on stage, but this one carried a different quality. The boy looked genuinely overwhelmed as Springsteen reached down and lifted him over the barrier in front of nearly 20,000 people at the Wells Fargo Center. Springsteen crouched beside him, placed a guitar strap over his small shoulders, and quietly began showing him the chord shape for the opening of Growing Up, speaking directly into his ear while the crowd settled into an expectant hush. Then the E Street Band came in, and the two of them played it together, Springsteen singing while the boy strummed with the focused care of someone who understood exactly what kind of moment this was. At the end, Springsteen told the crowd that the boy had come to exactly the right show. It was not the flashiest fan moment of that decade. By almost every account, it was the most tender. Number 1. Michael Bublé.
Only you have that magic technique. When we sway, I go weak.
A mother in a Birmingham, England arena, a handwritten sign, and a teenage boy named Sam, who she was absolutely convinced could hold his own against one of the world's best vocal performers. Michael Bublé noticed the woman waving during his Crazy Love tour and leaned into his mic with the gently teasing charm that has defined his stage persona for 2 decades. "All right," he said, "let's see what you've got." Sam walked up, adjusted the microphone stand to his height, and sang "Feeling Good" with a voice so controlled and warm that Bublé's expression shifted from entertained host to genuinely impressed peer within the first several seconds.
You know how I feel. Sun in the sky.
The audience moved from polite applause to a standing ovation before Sam had finished the first chorus. Bublé stood at the side of the stage with his arms folded, nodding slowly in that specific way people nod when they have been outclassed and are at peace with it. He put his arm around the teenager afterward and told the crowd that the kid was going to be a star. That Birmingham Arena clip has remained one of the most beloved unsolicited fan performance moments in online music history.
It's a new dawn, it's a new day.